boxing community was shocked when one of its own, Tommy Morrison, came forward with the same startling news. Boxers by trade are supposed to be made of steel, elusive yet powerful. In the ring, Tommy Morrison fought with reckless abandon. Outside the ring, Tommy Morrison lived with reckless abandon. Eventually, one or the other had to catch up.
I was informed just a little while ago that those tests do in fact confirm that I have tested positive for the HIV virus. To all my young fans out there, I'd ask that you no longer see me as a role model, but see me as an individual that had the opportunity to be a role model and blew it.
Now, Tommy Morrison starts a new fight, but this time, it's for his life. Today, for the first time, Tommy Morrison will speak openly and from the heart to a live studio audience filled with young people and to the millions of you at home about the greatest battle of his life. Everyone, please welcome Tommy Morrison. Are you surprised at that kind of reception?
Yeah, I am. I've always been a very guilt-prone athlete. I've always had a history of being pretty hard on myself. And now this is having to pay the ultimate price for being irresponsible.
Yeah. How do you feel now, right now? I mean, how is it going?
I'm holding it together pretty good. I think I've a little bit in denial at this point. I haven't totally accepted the fact that this has happened to me. But I'm dealing with it each and every day. I think I'm accepting it a little more.
Are you in denial because physically you feel so good?
I feel great. I mean, I haven't been sick in 3 years. I'm bigger, faster, stronger than I've ever been in my life. So this came as a huge shock to me because this year was going to be my year, you know, and now it's all over.
Do you still think about, I mean, forget about the payday, but you were working up to a huge fight with Mike Tyson.
We had a series of fights mapped out this year that would have been phenomenal for myself, and also, you know, we're talking another world title, and also the opportunity to compete against what a lot of people think is one of the best heavyweights in the world, and that being Mike Tyson. That was all mapped out and was going to happen this year, but due to the situation, it's all gone.
You say you're still in denial. What was it like for you when you were first told?
I could tell by the look on their faces that I figured they were going to tell me that maybe the fight got canceled or maybe my fighter pulled out. But it was very apparent to me that you know, something wasn't right. And Tony Holden, my promoter at the time, said there's not really an easy way to tell you this. He just came right out and told me. Of course, my initial response was, I've got to get some more blood drawn and make sure that this is for sure a fact.
So at that point, you didn't want to believe the news?
I had a hard time believing it. I really did. I mean, you never picture something like this happening to you. This is a disease that a lot of people associate with people that subject themselves to certain types of lifestyles, IV drug users, things like that. You know, you look at the Magic Johnson situation. You see, well, he lives in L.A. There's 8 million people there. There's 30 different lifestyles.
Not many.
He shouldn't live in L.A. Right. You know, and that was my attitude toward that. But I live in J, Oklahoma.
You didn't know anybody in J, Oklahoma who had it?
2,000 people, no, and it got me.
And so you ordered another test. Now the next test comes back.
We had some initial tests run. We were waiting on the news of all this. I guess the speculation that I had tested positive beat me back home. I left Las Vegas.
How did that make you feel?
That was, well, when I landed in the airport 3 hours later in Tulsa, leaving from Las Vegas, when I got off the airplane, it was about midnight, and I was walking through the terminal there, and I looked up at a little group of people standing around television, and there I was on there, and that in itself was hard to deal with. I just kind of pulled my hat down and walked onto my car.
I mean, is that the way you felt, that you just
I really
couldn't
did. I
face
was
anybody?
embarrassed. Yeah, I mean, because this, like I say, my first reaction was, what are people going to think? You know, I mean, here I am, supposed to be a big, tough guy, and I think I walked around in life thinking that I was bulletproof, and now I got to pay the ultimate price.
Who was able to tell your fiancée?
I phoned her from the plane and told her that I had, in fact, failed my medical exam. I didn't tell her why until I got home. You know, I wanted to be in front of her before I told her. And when I walked in, I put down my bag, and I sat her down and told her, just as soon as I got in the door, what had happened. She held it together much, you know, a lot better than I thought she would. She didn't really care. She knew that we were having some initial tests done, and that you always hang your hat on that possibility that there was a screw-up. But when we got the other tests back and I found out for sure, I had to make a statement, had to have a press conference. And,
I know,
let people...
and it was an eloquent statement, and I think anybody who saw parts of that press conference can now... I mean, a lot of people probably, when they take a look at your life at this point, Tommy, will say that might have been your finest hour. Nothing that went on in the ring, but the responsibility that you accepted at that press conference.
Well, I realized that I had lived a very reckless life, and you know, a lot of people wonder, well, how did you get it? I don't know how I got it. I don't outrule the possibility of having picked it up in the ring. You know, this is
You won't rule out that possibility?
I certainly wouldn't. I mean, this is a blood sport. You know, over the years, I've dealt with thousands of sparring partners. I've had 49 professional fights, and I led a crazy lifestyle for a few years, so...
Because most people, because you admitted this reckless lifestyle, that was probably because of your years of promiscuity and recklessness.
I mean,
this was, I assume, where you got it, but who knows?
Well, you don't really know. You know, I know that, you know, you're talking about boxing, it's a blood-on-blood sport, and it is a possibility. Leading a reckless lifestyle for a number of years probably didn't help any. But if I can somehow get out there and educate not only myself, but other people, if I can make one high school or college kid have a more responsible attitude towards sex, then that would be a bigger victory than I could have ever won in the ring.
When it came to your sexual lifestyle, I mean, it just doesn't come. I mean, was this a long time?
There was a period of about 3 or 4 years there where I was out of control. I mean, I had reached a point where I lived in Kansas City at the time. I lived there for about 6 years.
Is this after you won the title from George Foreman?
This was all along for 6 years. You know, I mean, they obviously winning the fight against George Foreman, the first world title that I won, was a very gratifying moment for me. At that time, things seemed to get out of control. I handled it up until that point, and I surrounded myself with the type of people that really didn't have my best interest at heart, and allowed myself to get sucked into that sort of lifestyle.
And you had the attitude that I'm immune, I'm bulletproof, couldn't happen to me. Maybe it happens to Magic because he's out in L.A. and he maybe lives a different lifestyle than I. Maybe it happens to those who use drugs. Maybe it happens to those who have a homosexual lifestyle preference. But it's not going to happen to me, Tommy Morrison. I mean, you never even thought about it. Right?
Not in a million years. I mean, I really honestly thought that, you know, I had a better chance of winning the lottery than something like this happening. But I'm here to tell you that it's for real. It changed my whole life, you know, and will continue to change it. This is something that obviously will, in some way, put a strain on the relationship that I have. So it's going to be tough to deal with.
We'll talk about that strain. We'll talk about your family and your friends and whether anybody has turned their backs on Tommy Morrison and who stuck with him after this.
I hope that I can serve as a warning that living this lifestyle can only lead to one thing, and that's misery.